Okay, as promised, I was going to give a review on Goji Center's Deviljho in Jurassic World here. So, after watching it, I was actually somewhat impressed by the information they gave here. But, as usual, we are going to have to correct some things here. And don't worry, I'm not going to be as harsh as with them as I am with Danko because, again, they are decent when they do research here. But let's actually talk about this here and kind of just nip it in the butt now. There is no Jurassic World creature, no creature in the Jurassic Park franchise, no matter how big they are, no matter what they've done, that is going to be able to take a freaking brute wyvern in the Elder Dragon level class on in a fight. We're talking about a creature that exceeds the strength of elder dragons or some elder dragons. These same elder dragons are capable of fighting against monsters that can create black holes and are known to be world-ending. At a bare minimum, that is multi-continental. At their highest ends, they can easily reach large planetary to even dwarf star levels of power. And don't even get me started on the black dragons. Y'all have seen my Elatrion versus King Ghidorah video from the Showa era. They are decently powerful to challenge some of the strongest versions or some of the decent versions of Godzilla. Okay, some of those Godzillas that are in the more planetary to even somewhat solar system ranges here. And even then, the lowest you can get in Elder Dragon is multi-continental because of characters like Orange Kirin, which are known to be able to freeze all of the moisture in the air, which comes around to the calculations, thanks to Versus Battles Wiki, of a multi-continental. So, without further ado, let's actually begin here, and believe it or not, we're just going to start off with the Stegosaurus and the Ankylosaurus parts here, which were not bad, except one thing, they don't really survive here. Like, not even a simple tail swipe from a Deviljho is not going to knock them over, it's going to kill them. That's why it shouldn't be hard to kind of comprehend that. Now, when it comes to creatures that should be able to survive Deviljho, none of the creatures in the Jurassic World franchise, as I said earlier, are going to be able to survive. Apsoroses, which are basically Ankylosauruses themselves here, probably much more advanced and much more evolved and pretty much adapted to basically live in a life or live a certain criteria along monsters. They actually get one-shotted by Deviljho pretty easily. Then you have monsters that Deviljho consistently fights and contends with and actually overpowers, and this includes characters like Tiger-Rex, who are able to bite and crunch through the shells of a Brachiodeos here, which are able to tank their own explosions and able to tank blasts from Agnactor, which are capable of causing volcanic eruptions. Now, one of the few parts that does irk me was around the 9-minute and 5-second margin, was where they talked about how Deviljho is able to fight against other monsters, but they never specify how powerful or what kind of class these monsters are in. And that's what irks me. It's the same thing with Danko, where he emphasized that, oh, well, Megatron's able to rip Cybertronus in half. But he stops right there. He doesn't emphasize the point of what they mean here. And the same thing goes with Goji Center. Why is him fighting other monsters important? What makes these monsters better or much more well-equipped than the dinosaurs of Jurassic World? You get what I mean here? We're talking about characters like Yangaruga, Rajang, characters that can again fight against monsters like Kushala Daora, someone that's able to disperse a snowstorm, I'll say a Snorlax. Someone who's able to disperse a snowstorm, which again is around the island levels of kinetic energy and attack potency. And again, they get higher with this whole multi-continental, large planet to even dwarf star level scaling. Alright? And Deviljho is again physically beating down, throwing around, even eating these kinds of creatures if he is lucky. Okay? Now, one of the few things that Deviljho is really known for is his endless appetite. But actually, there's a simple catch to it. Yes, it's his metabolism, but it's also the I guess you say, the biomass of the prey. If he can get his hands on something like a Mamenchisaurus, like Goji Center said, he's full. There is no, oh, he's going to massacre the entire island. I don't get that kind of narrative. He's not going to massacre the entire island. He's not the Arc Giga. Is he worse than the Arc Giga? Yes. Heck yeah. Yes, dude is a genuine monster. There is no way anybody is surviving Deviljho in that franchise. But the thing is, though, he's a monster that is very, I'm not going to say picky, but he understands his limitations. For example, there are monsters like Duramboros who are actually able to intimidate and scare a Deviljho off, but if it comes down to a fight, they can cripple it. Deviljho understands his strengths and weaknesses, and here he understands that he's the strongest. Now, let's talk about this part here real quick, and that's the Triceratopses. Believe it or not, this was overdone. This was oversimplified, that he would just jump in the middle and crush a Triceratops. When again, you guys could have just literally used the Diablos example. It's not really hard. I mean, it's one of the simplest examples. Look at this. That's a whole Triceratops. Dead. Triceratops runs at him. Deviljho just grabs him by the frill. Grabs him by that, part where the frill and horns meet. Lifts him up or slams him. And slams him, killing it instantly. Probably leaving a bloody mess because they're not as durable as the Diablos. And again, the Mamenchisaurus part, where this honestly should have been it. Video, I wouldn't say video done here, but again, they obviously would have to gone into, how he fares against the carnivores and stuff here. But Deviljho is not going to cause an entire massacre. Now, I know what you're saying, but they talked about the World Art Book, right? And how Deviljho is able to massacre an entire ecosystem. But again, they failed to actually state that that ecosystem would have had lesser prey items and lesser competition. You see, Deviljho, when he's in a much more balanced ecosystem, does not massacre the entire thing. Like, at all here. The sheer fact that Deviljho is also able to claim territory. They made it seem like Deviljho would just run around and just endlessly eat. No. He may be a monster, a powerful monster, but he still has his tendencies to sleep and form territory. There is no reason why a nomadic animal cannot claim territory. Lions do it. Birds do it. This is something so simple. Nomadic animals will claim territory and pretty much come back to it. We see this with lions repeatedly. They'll go back to their old territories. And they have a certain radius. Deviljho may claim a certain radius upon his territory, but it's not just him going from, oh, he ate all this, so now he'll move on to the next. No, he's going to stay there for a good amount of time until it's something like mating season or something like that. Okay? It's not as if Deviljho is just going to be like, oh, well, might as well just massacre the entire island. I guess I don't have anywhere to take up territory. No, Deviljho, like any other carnivore, is going to relax and rest, especially if he's fully fed. And again, let me emphasize this real quick here. Yes, the dragon energy Deviljho has does need to be maintained by him having a hypermetabolism. But Deviljho eats just about everything on his prey, apparently except for the bone, because apparently in the World Guidebook they said that he couldn't get through bone, which I find weird. But again, it's Monster Hunter bones, not actual, Jurassic World dinosaur bones. But anyway, let's talk about this here, right? He's eating everything on the Mamenchisaurus, on the Brachiosaurus here. It's not like he has difficult prey. And again, I feel like I have to emphasize this again. This is the reason why Deviljho had such a balance, or probably a much harder time getting to much harder prey items, or much more nutrition rich or sustainable prey items. Gammoth, Duramboros, okay? Characters of monsters of that caliber. Peak male Diabloses, black Diabloses, okay? Monobloses. These creatures are all capable of injuring and killing a Deviljho. All right, especially Duramboros and Gameth. They're known to be able to fight off the likes of Deviljhos. Now, the Dragon Energy section wasn't bad, but again, I have to, keep y'all informed. Yes, they die instantly. Okay, they get one tapped. All right, they're not surviving a single blast of Dragon Energy when the hunter has a hard time tanking that stuff himself. It's basically the ultimate kryptonite to any and all creatures. Now, the last part that, believe it or not, did irk me was that they're going to say that Deviljho would cause an entire extinction on the island. No, he wouldn't. He is not some mad monster going around just eating everything here. The biomass and the actual nutritional value of the sauropods would sustain them. These guys are big, or if not just probably bigger than a Gameth. Mountains of flesh that are easy for Deviljho to access, and he'll eat the entire thing. And even be able to snap their bones, because again, these ain't Monster Hunter bones. These ain't Wyverns and Elder Dragon bones. These are actual dinosaur bones. Likely fragile against someone like Deviljho, or even an Anjanath, which is weaker than Deviljho. He is going to be full. He's going to actually be fed for once. And again, it's because he has easy access to these prey items. And believe it or not, this may even increase the breeding rate of certain creatures on the island. Minus the Spinosaurus because it's single. But again, even if the Deviljho runs into any of the predators, yeah, they'll also be a part of his meal. And believe it or not, they might actually give him a meal that'll sustain him. Because again, Deviljho does have a hard time in Monster Hunter, but that is because more of the creatures have evolved to actually be able to counter predators. Again, Duramboros, Gameth, Diablos, Monoblos, the Elder Dragons, okay, have all evolved to be able to fight against and even counter a Deviljho. Even Lagiacrus, I almost forgot, I knew I forgot about something. Lagiacrus as well as other high-tier apex predators have also evolved to be able to, well, harm and even kill a Deviljho. Deviljho even has his own predators in a Cantor, Eucanlos, and even Nergigante, because of the dragon energy that is in Deviljho is a sustainable food source for it. So in all honesty, Deviljho would actually be fed. And that's because the prey items, the sauropods, would have been easy. Do I think he will eat other predators and other prey animals? Yes. But again, he would be fed once he gets his hands on a sauropod. And it's not going to take long for him to sniff him out. He's definitely going to explore the island, look for a prey item that might be able to sustain him for a little bit, maybe pick up a snack along the way. But again, he is going to get a sauropod eventually and actually be fully fed. This could actually allow the island to probably get its population back up. But to say Deviljho goes on a massive killing spree from start to finish makes it painted out to be as some psychopathic animal or some psychopathic killer, when it's far from that. It's a creature that's hungry with one of the most powerful weapons in Monster Hunter. But that's going to be all for today, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I'll see you guys for the what ifs. Peace.